Hey everybody, this is Brian with Smarter Networker. Thank you so much for joining us today. We appreciate you being here, and we are excited about generating this event for you to be able to watch. We've definitely been having a few issues, technical issues with our webinar platform. So I'm just going to do it solo and out that system so that we can get a good fresh piece of video that you can use. That's a good training tool, and then we'll start moving on to other stuff. But anyway, thanks again for joining us. We really wanted to help you with this particular step, which is step 2 in Dani Johnson's 7-step system. Now, the important part about this particular step is that it's an absolutely critical step. And so most people, when they first talk to their initial contact with their new prospect, they actually, what they do is they take all the excitement, all the enthusiasm, all of the things that got them fired up about the company that they're part of, whether it's the product or the opportunity or what the company stands for or how they're feeling on the product or whatever, and they just drop all that enthusiasm on their new prospect. And somehow non-salespeople turn into salespeople, and they try to sell them on how great their deal is, or how great their product is, or how great, the opportunity is, or whatever it is. And it just absolutely turns people off. They put their hands up and say, please don't talk to me anymore. And you get look at your opportunity to take a look. You've already created objections. They're going, man, if I've got to be like this, I don't want to do this. Things that happen early on in these initial conversations that can be so detrimental to the success of the overall process, that it's really important to look at what's going on in this part of your process. And again, I just want to say welcome to everybody for joining us. This is step number 2 of Dani's 7-step system. If you're watching this replay, which most of you will be, because we do these events during the week, during the middle of the daytime. If you're watching this replay, then most likely one of the places you can catch ask questions if you have them is over at Project 1000, and we will give you some details on that. But you can head on over to Project 1000 on Facebook. Just go to go to Facebook, search for Smarter Networker Project 1000. It's a members-only group, so you have to request membership. We'll absolutely let you in. We'd love to have you. We have around 12,000 people today using this group to learn from other people that have gone ahead of you and been able to apply Dani Johnson's training to their systems, and they're sharing their successes and their challenges and all these things. It's a very safe environment. There's absolutely no recruiting allowed in there, and it's a great place to kind of build up, some good information about how to work within your system, but using Dani Johnson's strategies. And so it's a really phenomenal setup that way. And so what we want to do is be able to give you some good training material. You'll also be able to find this webinar on our What's Working tab in the new Smarter Networker website. So if you're not seeing it there, maybe you're on YouTube, maybe you're in Project 1000, maybe you're somewhere else, you can always go over to our project smarternetworker.com, find the What's Working tab in your members area, and you can see all of our webinars based around this system. Now, the first thing we want to do before we get too far along the path here is I want to open up our PowerPoint so you can kind of see some of the things that are going along with this, and what we've already covered is important. And one of the things that we've already covered in this is the if you will, sorry, let me pull this up real quick, get myself undistracted here. Why is that not doing what I want? Alrighty. There we go, kill that. All right. Here we go. Run the beginning, slideshow. And there we go. Through before are pretty simple, but I want to kind of do a very quick review on where we've already been. And there's already webinars on this, so if you want to dive more into these, you could definitely do that. Most of them are, or actually all of them, are just meaty with information and are going to point you to places that will give you additional training directly from Dani Johnson on whatever the topic is that you feel you need some help with. But the big picture overview of Dani's system, if you will, is really 3 steps. Number 1, exposing your business, which is all the time, 24/7, every single day of the week. And the reason you want to be constantly exposing your business is you want the most number of people to know about it, right? It's basically what traditional companies do with their advertising, is they're getting as many people as possible to take a look at what they're doing. Then, and exposing your business is a critical part of the system. There's definitely a right way and a wrong way to do this. It's one of the worst things you could possibly do is jump on Smarter Networker. I'm sorry, that's not true. Jump on social media. Yeah, it's always a good thing to jump on Smarter Networker. But to jump on social media and start promoting your product or your opportunity or whatever, that's about one of the worst ways you can expose your business without knowing how to do that properly. You can actually create negative exposure for your business that way. So go on over and check out the Expose webinar that we've done, or the overview webinar that we did, the very first one, and it'll dive into this pretty extensively. In our Expose webinar, we actually give you 5 different ways, totally different styles of generating leads for your business. And this is a critical way to maximize the number of people that are taking a look at your opportunity and generating lists of people that you can show your business to. The next step in the big picture of what Dani does is involve people in the business. Now, this is a critical step and also many times misunderstood and done incorrectly. And what I mean by this is a lot of times people do not start involving their team members in the business until they have signed up as a full-blown distributor. And that's a mistake. You really want to get people involved even before they've signed up at all. Sometimes even before they've become a customer, there's opportunities to bring people in and involve them in your business. Many times when we got somebody to take a look at our business, they didn't have the money to get started, or they just still had questions or whatever. And so we would go actually do a presentation for them with their leads, their contacts, and show them how the business works, help them make some money even before they signed up, and be able to get them moving. And that definitely got them fired up. And usually when you ask the question, do you want to have this commission or do you want me to keep it? The answer was always, I want it, meaning, yes, sign me up and let's get moving, because we just showed them how it works. Our goal is to help people make $100 in their first 48 hours. And so this just to show them how it worked. And it was just a powerful, powerful way to get people committed to doing it. But involvement really leads to upgrading. Involvement can be, a weekly webinar. It can be a weekly Saturday training. It could be some kind of, barbecue at your house every month. It could be, whatever. Just keeping people involved in your business and what's going on. And the goal of it is to upgrade their mindset first, meaning that they start looking at the business for what it truly is, which is a multi-million-dollar opportunity and a way to change people's lives for the better in many different areas. It doesn't matter what your product is or even what your comp plan is. You have solutions for somebody in their business or in their life that they have challenges for. And one of the things we're going to be talking about today is how to find the need of the individual before you dump all the benefits of your company under their head. You want to find out, what are they interested in first? They might not. When I first started in this business, I was not interested in weight loss because I was very fit. I was a competitive cyclist, and that wasn't my primary focus. So but what was interesting to me was the money, and so that was the thing that got me interested and excited. But had somebody approached me about weight loss, it wouldn't have made a difference to me. I wouldn't have been interested, even though the products are awesome, So anyway, the goal of involvement is to upgrade somebody's mindset so they look at your business the way it should be looked at. You upgrade their thinking of how it all works. You upgrade their commitment level to their success. And this is one of the first upgrades that happens, is that they change their thinking from thinking about this as a way to make a few $100 extra to going out and becoming, wealthy, or even replacing a full-time income. But you're upgrading their commitment to their success, or their commitment to being part of your business. And then third, you're going to upgrade their activity level. And this is critical because if you can get somebody who's consistently plugging in and using your products, number one, plugging into your events, even if they're not bringing anybody at the beginning, that's okay. Then later they're going to start bringing people. Sometimes people jump in both feet. They start bringing people immediately because they absolutely are already at that level. And then other times you're gonna upgrade their activity level and even get into a corporate event or a Dani Johnson First Steps to Success event or something like that. It's going to be a big step in their commitment level, and all of this, in their activity level, I should say, and maybe they're going to consistently be doing something every day to grow their business. That is a sign that somebody's increasing you've upgraded their commitment level when their activity level increases. And then the last thing that upgrades is their results. The actual money they're making, the growth in the comp plan, and the number of people in their team, all of the leadership ability, their ability to do presentations, for example, is an upgrade in their skill set and their results. So that is the way the upgrade component here works. There's a couple of steps, and it all kind of goes back to the involved part. Now, here is an overview of Dani's 7 steps, and we'll go through this very quickly. And we're diving into each one of these steps through this webinar series. And in the second webinar, we focused on these 7 steps and the importance of each one. So if you want to get a really deep overview of the whole process and how it works together, this is the second webinar where we talk on all 7 steps is the one you want to get to see why it works as a whole. Each one of these 7 steps are absolutely critical to the overall success. They cannot be skipped, and they cannot be done out of order. They're here for a reason, and they are absolutely critical to the thing. So start off with exposing your business, which is getting people to to know about what you're doing. Number 2 is what we're talking about today, initial contact, which is the first conversation you have with somebody. What does that conversation look like? What is the goal of that conversation? How can you mess that thing up? Because most people do. And how can you really make it a very positive thing? The next, number 3 step is presentation. Number 4 is close. Making actually somebody make a decision or helping them make a decision for their success. And then number 5 is on-the-job training. This is where you actually help them make some money. You help them have some success in their business. And then 6 is duplication, where now you're getting other people in their team. You're starting to bring up other people to start doing something in the business. You start seeing that duplication happen. And then the last thing is leadership development. And this is where people start doing the business without you. And this is when magic happens. And really, this is the beauty of our industry, is that people can come in and do better than you. And that only pushes your paycheck up, which is fantastic. And it also frees you up to now go on and find another leader, which is the goal of our business. So this is the basics of the system, and something we dug into previously. Now let's dive into initial contact a little bit. This is, like I said earlier, one of the places where most people make a big mistake, and that mistake is taking all that excitement and passion that you have about your product or your company or your mission statement or whatever it is and dumping it onto somebody because you assume that they want to know about what excites you. The bottom line is they really don't care what excites you. They have their own needs and their own desires and their own interests and their own things that they're looking for. And so the number one thing you have to do in this initial conversation, again, this could be on a telephone call, maybe you're calling a cold lead. This could be in the line at Walmart where you're trying to find out, they don't even know that you're interviewing them necessarily, but you're asking them some questions, which we'll go into in just a second. But the goal of this particular initial conversation, again, they could be calling you off of a flyer. They could be even a prospect, somebody you meet on social media. There are ways to do this on social media. You want to plug into Dani's training on social media empire for all the skill sets in that. There's a lot of ways to find people to talk to, and so the first thing you want to be doing is finding their need. And that is a critical first step. The second thing you're going to do is provide a solution for that need. Now, it doesn't have to be totally obvious in this conversation, but rather than you telling them what you're excited about and trying to sell them on taking a look at your business, what if you could find out what their needs were and then say, hey, you know what, I don't know if this is going to be for you, but I might have a solution for that financial need that you just told me about. Most times people are going to be very, very excited to take a look at what you're showing them, what they are interested in, rather than what you are excited about. The step number 3 here is don't create objections. It's so common when people start talking about the ingredients in their products, for example, or some other big benefit of their company, which again might be great and interesting and really awesome, but it's not interesting to the prospect yet. So you want to make sure that you're not doing things in a way that actually are turning your prospect off. And for example, maybe you're bringing up the cost of your product, or you're talking about some ingredient in that product that might be semi-controversial, or whatever it might be, or maybe just the way you're approaching somebody, they're going to go, I don't really want to do what you're doing to me right now. You want people on the other end of the conversations to go, you know what, if that person can do this, I can do this. They may not even say it consciously, but that's what you want their experience to be. So you want to be really sure that you're not saying things that are creating objections in that initial conversation. And we'll give you a place that you can go to get all the scripts for this here in just a second. The goal is to have them take a look at your business, at your product, at your opportunity. It is not to close a sale. And this is the biggest mistake that most people make right here, is that these people that started in this business because it wasn't sales, because it was just they're excited about a product, now all of a sudden they turn into a salesperson. They try to close the sale on the first conversation. That rarely happens, and it takes a huge amount of skill to make that work. And most people that go after the closing the sale and initial conversation, do not make that sale and actually turn people off. So again, your goal is only to get somebody to take a look at your business, to set an appointment for them to either sit down with you, to be able to see everything, to get all the information so they can make a good decision for themselves, rather than getting bits and pieces of it and making a snap decision that is usually a no. And so you want to make sure that you're doing everything you can just to get people to take a look at what you're doing and not be trying to close that sale. Now, here's the questions you want to be asking, and you want to write this down. If you're not familiar with this acronym, it's definitely something that will help you a lot in your business going forward. And that is FORM, form. And the first F stands for family. The O stands for occupation, the R stands for recreation, the M stands for the message that you want to deliver, which is, hey, why don't you take a look at what we're doing? It might be good for you. We're going to go into this a little bit deeper, so don't worry. We'll give you a little more information on this here in just a second. But while you're forming somebody, and Dani talks about this a lot, whether it's in the free 30-day boot camp or the script book bundle training that is included in the script book bundle, I'll show you all the details on that in a second. Whatever it might be, this is what you want to be doing, is learning about how to form someone properly. And then the goal of this, like I said earlier, is to find their need. So you're looking for their sign. Now, the sign stands for their strengths, their interests, their goals, and their needs. Never once in there does it say my strengths, my excitement level, my interests, my needs. It's about them, about their strengths, interests, goals, and needs. And that is the purpose of this particular goal here, or the forming is to find their sign. Now, let's dive into that just a little bit more. And go over, here we go. So again, the F stands for family. The O stands for occupation, which is a very common question that especially guys ask each other, hey, what do you do for work? It's just that simple. It doesn't say, what is your occupation? It doesn't have to be robotic, but it has to be, obviously as comfortable and natural as possible. Obviously, questions about your family are super easy. What do you do for fun? And a lot of times this leads into some great objections that people have with their current situation. Many times, well, can't really afford to have fun. I can't really, I'd love to go water skiing, but it's just so expensive, the boat and all the time. I really don't have time or money to do it that often. Ding, ding, ding. There's some needs that your prospect has. And then while you're doing this, you're looking for their strengths. So in one part of this, you're looking for, what are they good at? Are they good at sales? Are they good at, building relationships with people? Are they good at, and there's a lot of skills. Are they good at good teacher? Are they a good, somebody who's really active in their community? They've got a lot of connections. What is it that they're good, they're doing, and what is it that what are their strengths? Because later on, you're going to talk about those with the prospect as something that might help them in their business success down the road. But initially, you're also looking for their interests. What interests them? What is it that they're looking for? What is it that what is it that gets them excited? What drives them? Is it money? Some people are driven by that. They want to make more and more money. Some people are driven by, a mission of the company that you're in, or they're driven by helping other people. Some people are driven purely by fun, and everybody's a little different. So find out, what are their interests. What are their goals in life? Are they looking for more free time? Are they looking for more income? Are they looking for, what is it that they're looking for? Their goals many times are pretty easy to come up with when you're talking to somebody and asking them these questions. And what are their needs? This is where you might even find an emotional response with, I'm really struggling paying my mortgage, or I'm a couple months behind on my rent, or I'm having a tough time, finding a good babysitter for my kids so that I can make some money. Whatever it is, everybody has some needs. So you really diving into this is an important component of the whole thing. Now, as you do this, you're going to be working up how you're going to customize the message for the individual that you talk to. And it's pretty simple, actually. You're actually going to repeat back to them what they told you. So, hey, I don't know if this is for you, but a company I'm working with, they're expanding locally, and they're looking for some talented people that, similar to you, that are great with, building relationships with people, but, and have interest in helping others around the world. Again, I don't know if this is for you, but we're looking for some people on a part-time basis that are looking to make an extra $2,000 to $3,000 a month. That might be one way to approach somebody, and maybe from there you just do the invite. Now we have scripts for all this kind of stuff. So, but anyway, this is kind of the idea here: is you're customizing the message for them based on what they're telling you, and the only way you can get that information is if you actually ask questions and then listen. And you can't find out their strengths, interests, goals, and needs by going and talking, just talking about your project and everything. It's definitely something you must be focused on their overall success. So this is a critical component of what we do there. Then the way this all works, and this is a critical thing we're going to talk about for just a second here, is the scripts are what make it duplicatable. And I know duplicatable is technically not a word, but it is very much a word in our industry, and someday it'll make it into the dictionary, I think. But for now, it's one of those things that it's important to understand that this is how our business works. If you are not finding ways to make your business duplicatable, meaning that everybody can do it, then you're going to have struggles in growing. And the reason is that you might be personally super great at talking to people. You might be personally, really good about picking up the phone every single day and talking to people, and you know how to do this kind of naturally, and you're outgoing, and you just love people, and you love talking to people. The problem with that is that the person you're talking to may not be like that. And they may be much more introverted. They may need a lot more information before they feel confident and able to go out and do what they see you doing. And so it's really difficult if you're just winging it all the time to grow your business, because most people are going to look at you and say, wow, I understand why you are so good at this, because you're so outgoing and so wonderful, and so, people love you, but I'm not like that. And I have a lot of difficulty with this kind of thing. And so if they feel like it's your skill set that is the reason you're so good at this, then that's going to be a struggle for them. But if they understand that there are scripts, there is a system in place, then this can definitely become a very positive thing, where they can say, wow, okay, so all I have to do is learn these scripts and be able to do the same thing that you just did with me. And so using scripts is so critically important to this. And I want to share a couple stories with you right here. I'm going to go back, and I'm going to All right. And so a couple of stories I want to share right now that are so important about scripts. Number one, the way I promoted this webinar was, can you experience 100% of the people saying yes to taking a look at your business opportunity or your product opportunity? My belief is yes, you can. In fact, I've actually seen Dani Johnson get more than 100% closing rate. And like, what do you mean by that? And what I actually saw multiple times, this wasn't just like an occasional thing. This was most of the time when she would use the scripts that she developed. She'd read these scripts over the phone or to somebody, face to face or whatever the situation was. She had mastered all these different situations, but everything she said was scripted out. And she would actually get people so interested in what she was doing, not because she was telling them anything. She was purely doing what I just talked about, forming somebody, finding their interests, their goals, their needs, and saying, hey, I don't know if this is for you, but man, you've got everything we're looking for. It might be something where, on a part-time basis, you could pull down an extra $3,000 to $5,000, and you could just see people's face light up because they completely believed her. And the way that she had found their need and really talked to them about that need. So not only would they say, yes, I want to see what's going on, but they would also, is it okay if I bring somebody with me? I have another friend of mine who's also in a similar situation that's looking for work as well, or looking for extra income or whatever the approach was. And she would many times have multiple people show up. Sometimes we were doing this in offices, sometimes we were doing this in hotel rooms, sometimes we were, living rooms, wherever it was. But she would many times have more than just the person she invited show up for this. So yes, 100% and better is possible. I've actually seen it with my own hands. And I'll tell you, or in my own eyes, I'll actually also share a personal story with you about this and why scripts are so valuable. When I first got started in this business 23 years ago or so, I owned a traditional business. I was good at talking to people that were walking into my bicycle shop because they were coming in saying, hey, basically saying, I would like to buy a bicycle, walking into your shop. So my belief was that I would help them out and guide them to the right product for them. And so it was a very easy conversation. But as soon as the tables were turned, and now my job to go talk to people and get them excited about coming and taking a look at something, now I felt kind of salesy and I kind of felt awkward. So I was really nervous about doing this. And so 3 o'clock in the afternoon, well, here's a little bit more of the story. I went to my first steps of success a couple of days after I'd gotten started in business. I learned from Dani Johnson for an entire weekend. I scheduled my first home presentation on Tuesday afternoon. And I walked into, it was 3 o'clock in the afternoon, and my sponsor walked in, who is now my wife, by the way. Another story for another day. Walked into my house and said, Brian, how many people do you have coming? And I'm just here to set up and all that. I want to see how many you've got coming. I said, well, I was thinking maybe we could move this to Thursday and give me more time. And she looked at me and said, Brian, you are a coward. She actually used a lot more colorful words than that, but it's like she flat out called me a coward for not picking up the phone, and that got me motivated. I said, you're right, I am, and I grabbed that phone at 3 o'clock in the afternoon, and I read this script. You probably can't see it right on the thing there. Let me see. There we go. The opinion script. I read that script to 9 people at 3 o'clock in the afternoon, between 3 and maybe 3:30, and lo and behold, 8 of the 9 people showed up at 6 o'clock that night. And it was an awesome experience. And this was the initial contact that I made with these first 9 people. And it was pretty awesome to see 8 of the 9 show up. And these were quality people. These were top salespeople for Nike and Adidas. These were retired executives looking for a home-based business. These were some of my best friends, and it's quality people for sure. And man, I'll tell you something, it was pretty exciting to see that work. So these scripts, the script books, are important components to your business model. And this is where they come in the most handy. Now, there's also scripts there for doing presentations, for retail sales, for closing, for handling objections, for all kinds of things. But those initial conversation scripts are just absolutely critical to your overall success in this particular part of the business. And what I want to do now is take you back over to our screen and share a hold of some stuff that are going to help you a lot in this area. Now, if you're not familiar, there is what we call our script book bundle. Now, this script book bundle comes with 2 script books, and they're both critically important. It's just not, the supplemental script book is not just more of the same. It is a very different script book than the primary script book. The script book, number one, the basic script book is going to give you a lot of inviting scripts. It's going to give you some retail scripts. It's going to give you a couple of closing scripts. And quite a, there's about 20, 25 scripts in the script book, plus a number of other bonus type things in there that really help you with this. It's also going to include 2 CDs that you get to hear Dani Johnson actually read the scripts and coach other people on the scripts. And so you get a great example of how to do this correctly. It's absolutely critical and really, really powerful. The supplemental script book is actually in many ways more valuable, more important, because it actually has more scripts in it, number one, but number two, it has the more closing scripts. It's got a lot of handling objection scripts. And these are so critical because you will get objections absolutely all the time. And if you don't master the ability to handle those objections properly, most people are just going to give you 3 objections before they say yes, is what I've found. And those really aren't like, they're not like irate objections where they're upset or something. It's just really just questions that they have, or lack of belief in themselves that come out in an objection form. So as soon as you can identify what they're actually saying to you, and be able to handle that objection, not just answer it with facts and prove them wrong, but actually handle that objection so that objection is satisfied, and now you move on to the next objection. And we'll go into this process down the road in one of our in the closing webinar that we'll do. But it's pretty simple, actually. But as long as you've got scripts and you understand what's going on, so many people kind of get rattled at this place because they're feeling like they're getting kind of attacked, and that's not at all the case. So what I wanted to do is show you this. Now, one other thing that comes with these scripts is something called the and I'm going to see if I can find this window to show you here. See if that pops up. There we go. Awesome. Awesome. that come with that. So if you get a chance to take a look at all that, and you can get all that over at Smarter Networker. But when you start off with that script book bundle, that's what's going to get you. You can find it over the little icon thing on the right hand side there. I'm sorry, is the place you find that on the event or on the website. So let me. Is a little bit about what we're doing. So again, you can get that. I'm going to throw up the offer on the screen. I don't know if you're going to be able to see this, depending on how you're watching the this video. It may not show for you, but if it doesn't, what you can do is go on over to Smarter Networker and grab the offer over there. This is something we've got set up as a bundle, and because of that, we've given it bundled pricing. So you're saving about $15 to $20 off of individual product pricing. I think it's $97 for the set, including all those bonus trainings that we just showed you, the 2 CDs, the 2 script books. Most people's script books by the end of the first couple of months are like, they've got notes written in there, and they're a lot of times people will put like tabs on the ones they use a lot. And what I also recommend for most of the teams that I work with, whether it's an outbound sales team through Smarter Networker or Destiny Global or any of our other groups of people that we work with internally, I recommend that they read these script books cover to cover at least one time a month. And then they start learning the language overall. And then what they can do is highlight the parts that really fit their situation, that happens a lot in their job. And so while the script may not be exactly designed for what they're doing, it's very similar. And so with a couple of very minor modifications or pulling a chunk from another script and dropping it in, you can build a perfect script for your scenario. But if you're in the home-based world, these scripts are designed for you. Very, very little modifications need to be made. In fact, all you many times have to do is drop your company name in and a couple of details about your company or your product, and you are set and ready to go. So super easy to use. Absolutely a great place to go for that. So that is most of our presentation today. I just wanted to make sure that everybody got a chance to really dive into this. If you have some questions about this, we would love to help out in any way we can. The place you can reach us is over at Project 1000 on Facebook. So you just go to Facebook, search for smarternetworker.com, or I'm sorry, Smarter Networker / Project 1000. There we go. Now I got all my websites straight. So go to Facebook, search for Smarter Networker Project 1000, and you will find our Facebook group. When you do, you just kind of have to request membership because it is a closed group because we block all the spammers and anybody trying to recruit and all that kind of stuff. It's a totally safe and recruit-free zone, and you can come in there and learn how other people are using Dani Johnson's home business strategies in their system, and you also can learn from the people who don't have a system. So many people in our industry, unfortunately, don't have good leadership, and they really are what we call an orphan. They're in a great company, they've got a great product line, but they don't have a lot of leadership, and they don't know what to do. And so this is a place where you can learn how to build Dani Johnson's system so that you have a great roadmap for somebody to just walk them right through your business opportunity. And this webinar series hopefully will help you a lot with that, but also Project 1000 is where you get your questions answered and connect with us anytime you want to, day or night. We're in there quite a bit, and I usually pop in there 3 or 4 times a day, answer all the questions, and also you can get updates on any other webinars we're doing, conference calls, events with Dani. I mean, all the things are in there first and foremost. So any specials that we do are all over in Project 1000 as well. So hope you enjoyed this. If you did, please head on over to Project 1000 and let us know what you thought about it, and we will see you again very soon. Thanks.